What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. So what I do on my YouTube channel is I talk about the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can understand them, use them, and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual, tangible results. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is something that was requested by one of my viewers. And the subject of today's video is how do you get rid of fear working with the occult or working with spirits? What are certain techniques that you could possibly do? And just what surrounds this this emotion or this energy behind fear, and how do you truly get rid of it? Okay, so I'm gonna really go into this this subject in this video. I'm gonna really break it down in a very understandable way, and I'm gonna be very authentic with you. I'm not gonna give you any sugar-coated bullshit. This is gonna be straight to the point. It's gonna be 100% real, something I apply in my life, something I see others apply in their life as well. So if that's something that you're looking for, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself so that you get 100% results as long as you have the right intentions. Then the other bit of the videos are going to be geared towards what I like to call educational entertainment, which is a video that's very similar to this, where the video is entertaining, but you're also getting tons of value from it at the same time. Okay, so where you're going to be able to see my Patreon is if you go to the description, you're going to click the drop down. It's going to be that very first link at the top. It even says my Patreon right next to it. So you're going to click that link. And in order to gain access to the exclusive content, which is not on my YouTube, this is only for my Patreon members, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. So in order to be a tier 2, it costs $9.95 a month. And that is a reoccurring payment. But if you do the math, that literally will come out to less than $1 a day. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford it with the value that I have on my Patreon. Okay, so other than that, as you go up in tiers, the benefits increase as well. So with that being said, I would like to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, let's go right into this video. Okay, so I'm just going to start this off being very honest with you. The truth is that okay, so once again, the question is, how do you get rid of fear? The truth is you're never going to get rid of fear. Okay, you don't get rid of fear. Okay, the truth is that you learn to understand and work with fear to the point where it no longer produces the same emotion in you. Fear is always there. Fear is a certain type of energy, and it always is going to be there. It's very important that it's there. For example, you're walking around. You come to a street. There's a bunch of cars that are going, opposite directions. What's holding you back from just walking through the street while cars are coming at you is a certain level of fear that you'll get hit. Okay, so this is just one example. That's very important that you have that. You have that fear that tells you, okay, wait, I'm not going to cross the street now because that's probably not a smart idea. I'd probably get hit by a car. That's an important emotion to have. Okay, same thing like, like if you were swimming and let's say you were going deep sea fishing and you're over here like, fishing, and there's a massive shark, a big great white shark that comes out of nowhere and starts eating the fish that you're trying to fish for. Fear would probably tell you not to jump in the water while there's blood everywhere, while there's a big great white shark that's taking your bait. Fear will probably tell you that. Okay, that's a good thing because that shark very likely might eat you. Maybe not, but it might. Okay, so that's fear that would hold you back. Fear tells you not to, if there's a building that's on fire, not to go in the building. Why would you go in the building? Because there's a level of fear that's in you that says if you go in there, you will feel pain. Okay, so fear is interconnected with pain. It's interconnected with things you don't want to feel. It's most oftentimes connected with the unknown. Okay, so you definitely want to figure out what the root of the fear is. Now, for example, if it's connected to these examples that I just gave, then that's a great reason to fear something. You don't want to walk into a building that's on fire and then burn alive. Okay, so when can fear be your downfall? Okay, when can fear really cause harm to you? Well, fear can cause harm when there are certain things that are in your best interest that you need to do or that you need to experience, but you're afraid to experience because you're not used to it. You're not comfortable with it. You don't know about it. It's unknown to you. You haven't experienced it yet. You have no insight on it. You have no input on it. You have no understanding of it. So you fear it. That's when fear can hold you back. And that's when fear can be a problem. So working in the occult, there is a lot of focus on working with spirits to gain power from them. We don't, when you're an occult practitioner, you never worship a spirit just because they're very powerful. You never just worship a spirit. Just, hey, you're God, you're powerful, I worship you. Now the true breakdown of the word worship means respect, but when you're putting more respect into a spirit than your own self, then you're fucking up. Okay, that is a very bad sign. That means you do not understand the occult and the nature of the occult anyways, because the truth is that the most powerful spirits in the occult, when it comes to the Qliphoth, when it comes to the darker demonic hierarchies, they truthfully want you to evolve, because there is a level of evolution that they get if they can help you evolve. And I believe, in my personal belief, it has a lot to do with the Qliphoth, and it has a lot to do with the tunnels of Set and bringing a true understanding to those systems of initiation, so that people can truly walk through them and develop real levels of authentic power and understanding and wisdom, which is something that we don't have in today's society. This is very hidden. This is very low key. Now there's a few people that are starting to talk about it. Like, we are in a time and age where this stuff is actually starting to come to the surface, very slowly, but very surely. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the only person that was really talking about this stuff was Kenneth Grant in regards to the darker side of the occult. Okay, and there was probably maybe a few others, but very small, a lot smaller than what we have now. Okay, so once again, what I said is that some of the most powerful spirits, like literally, they want you to recognize your power, because as you evolve and as you help others get their power and help others evolve, then the entirety of these occult hierarchies, specifically the Qliphoth, the tunnels of Set, Ars Goetia, they're going to evolve as well as people gain real understanding of what these systems are. Either way, you know, these systems are dark. Okay, when it comes to the Qliphoth, when it comes to the tunnels of Set, these are dark spiritual systems. So either way, they're feeding off of energy. They're feeding off of life force from the race itself. That's just how, in order for the system to exist, it needs to do that. Okay? So either way, it's good. It's still going to be there. But if the system is to evolve, as I said, like the Qliphoth, the tunnels of Set, if that system's going to grow and eventually transform and change a little bit, it needs more initiates that are understanding of the totality of the system and what the importance of it is. And the importance, once again, is when someone fully understands the real system of initiation, understanding the Sephiroth, the Qliphoth, and the tunnels of Set, then that person is going to be able to walk through all those levels of initiation. And most likely, if you fully understand these systems, then you probably already have. Okay? And if you have, then that person is powerful. Okay? That person has a certain level of power to them. And that person now can literally change the world based off of their intention. And if that person has worked through these systems of evolution to gain that power, then that person is automatically going to be in line with what needs to happen and what needs to take place in order for evolution to fully manifest in its you could say its purest form. And a lot of these Clifothic tunnels of Set and demonic hierarchies, even the angelic side, but I'm putting a little bit more focus on the Clifothic side. It's a little more ancient. It's a little more powerful. They need, or they want, I don't necessarily want to say need, but they want that level of evolution. They want the world to transform in regards to, people bringing balance to Earth, in regards to people actually walking these initiatory systems and breaking down the illusory structures that are already in place in our society. That's literally why the tunnels of Set even exist. It's meant to make it so that Earth doesn't get out of balance. Okay, that's literally why they're here. But right now, Earth is actually out of balance, and it's been out of balance for a while. But we're hitting a point in time where things are going to get forced back into balance, and it's going to happen in the way that I'm saying now, with people understanding the real systems of initiation and walking those paths. And just as I said, naturally, by going through these systems of initiation, you're literally going to break down the structures that are on Earth that are not serving mankind and that are not serving a bigger picture of balance, that are not connected to source. Okay, that's just naturally what the Clifoth and the tunnels of Set do. That it's demonic, it's dark, it's destructive. But for the person that's going through it to gain power and to gain wisdom and understanding, they're using those dark forces in a responsible way and in a proper way. Okay, so that's just one thing I want to say. So in regards to fear and eliminating fear, once again, you're never going to get rid of fear, but what you will change and what you will shift within yourself is your own understanding, your own wisdom, and your own knowledge of fear itself. Okay, so you're going to learn how to view and feel fear in a much different way than you may right now. Okay, so you're going to see fear as an indication. And then as soon as that fear comes up, there's going to be an instant trigger that says, why? Why am I fearing this? What is this? What is this about? And, is it worthy that I'm fearing this? Am I supposed to fear this? And once you dig a little bit deeper and get to that next layer underneath, then you're going to have your answer. Okay, you fear this because this is dangerous. This could actually hurt you. Okay. Or maybe it'll tell you, oh, you fear this because you don't understand this. Oh, you fear this because you've never done this before. Or, this is common, you fear this because you've experienced this in your past, and in your past you got hurt emotionally. Not physically, but emotionally. So if it's any of those, not the first one, if it's something, if your fear is based on something that's actually physically going to harm you, and put you in that level of danger, physical danger, then that's okay. That's something that's worth spending some more time looking at and understanding. And that's something that you would want to not necessarily do. But if it's something that you're fearing because you've been hurt in the past emotionally, or if it's something that you've never experienced before and it's something that's unknown to you, that's something that you really want to look into and really get to the root of and say, why am I fearing this? And typically, most of the time, those are going to be the things that you want to re-experience. Now, it's really important to make sure you're healthy. It's really important to make sure you're focusing on yourself, meaning you're not involved with a bunch of toxic groups of people. You're not you're not addicted to any substances. It's really important that you're taking care of yourself. It's really important that you're healthy, as I said, and balanced. Because let's say, for example, there's an experience that was a past experience that triggered a crazy emotional trigger for you. And this happened in the past, and this this experience was so traumatic that you now literally carry that energy with you because it was such a trauma to you. So you're still holding on to it. You haven't released it yet. So if you're currently still involved with toxic groups of people, friends, toxic people that are all about gossip and just are not on their path, and you're just hanging out with them, and they're addicted to substance abuse, that they drink alcohol all the time, they're smoking weed all the time, they really just aren't doing anything profound with their life. If you're living that lifestyle and you try to go back into one of those past traumas that has that level of intense and immense fear attached to it, you may not be ready to release that because you're still involved in these circumstances that are essentially against you, because you're still with toxic friend groups and you're still addicted to substances. You're still not you yet. You still haven't found yourself yet. And now you're talking about you want to potentially go try and re-release a trauma. No, that's not going to happen because you're not ready to heal the trauma. You're not ready to process that information. If your computer has viruses on it, if your computer is broken, it's not going to run properly. It's not going to process information the way that it did when it was a brand new computer and there was nothing attached to it. It wasn't broken. It didn't have any viruses. It was smooth and it was connected to the internet and it worked properly. That's how your body is. That's how your mind works too. Your subconscious mind is naturally always sorting out information. But if you're always distracting yourself with, once again, toxic friend groups, which provokes certain types of emotions, which is energies in motion, then that throws your system off depending on how toxic those people are and your own level of power. It throws your energy off, and then if you start doing substances, that even takes you further away from your own natural state of being able to process. And then your conscious mind will most likely get in the way and tell you a lie. Your conscious mind, being attached to your ego, will tell you, oh, well, these are your friends. They love you though. It's okay, it's because they love you. They would do anything for you, honestly. They've been with you since day one. They've been your friends for so long now. It's okay. You got to stay with them. Then that will take over, and then you'll start stagnating from that point. And once you hit that point of stagnation, then you start dying. However that manifests. Could manifest in illness, disease, mental breakdown, psychological problems. All kinds of stuff can literally start manifesting. You could break a leg, you could twist an ankle, like just bad stuff will start to happen and you'll see it. So once again, in order to change the energy that is behind fear, the first thing you want to do is drop everything that is not in your best interest. Drop everything that is not in your best interest to your best ability. Now, obviously, if you're working a job where you're surrounded by people that aren't necessarily the most, you could say, the most healthy, balanced people, that's fine. Because you're not, if you need to do that to survive, that's different. The universe works in very interesting ways, and spirits work in very intelligent ways, where if you're working a job and you're working that job because you need to survive and there's toxic people there, they're not going to affect you the same way. And that's just straight up, that's just how evolution works. But if you're actively making the choice to go and hang out with toxic people when you don't have to, when you're doing it on your own time, you're exerting your own energy to purposefully go and do that, that's where you get the pushback. That's where it gets in your way. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is eliminate all the situations to your best ability that are not in your best interest, that are not healthy for you. Okay? The next thing that you want to do is you want to be healthy. Start eating healthy. That's literally so important. Start eating healthy. Get a green juice a day. Go to your local green juice place, get a green juice. Okay? Start paying attention to what you're putting in your body. Eat more vegetables. Drink more water. These are so important. I'm going to say it again. Eat more vegetables. Kale, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, onions, you name it. Drink more water. Drink pH, high pH water. Go to the grocery store and get a gallon and make sure you drink that a day. Do that. This will change your life immensely, okay? Most people have terrible diets and most people are extremely dehydrated. Those two things alone, boom. Now your body is prepared, okay? Now you're healthy. Now you're a lot more balanced than you previously were. Now the work starts, okay? Now what's probably going to start happening for you if you're following, what I'm saying, and you had just let go of these, the circumstances that were holding you back. Now you start working on your health. Now what's probably going to happen is a form of shadow work. Shadow work is going to be, you are going to be finding yourself in situations where fear will be provoked in your body. You will find yourself doing something that triggers something in you that makes you feel, oh shit, I don't want to have to deal with this right now because. And then that because is what's attached to why you fear it. Because I've dealt with this in the past, but in the past that hurt me. Well, why did it hurt you in the past? And why aren't you prepared to go through it now? Because you're balanced now. Things in that nature. So that's when the process happens where you start to redirect how fear affects you. And it gets to the point where fear no longer has a grip on you. Where you look at something and just because it's unknown, just because you don't understand it, and it provokes that immense level of fear in you, you actually will look at that thing and say, I need to experience that now. And when you get to that point where you can do those things, every time that fear comes up and you realize you're fearing it just because it's unknown, just because you don't know, just because you're unexperienced with it, and you go directly into it, you'll notice the fear gets less and less and less every time you come across that same thing that used to terrify you. It's because your body is processing that information every time you make that decision to go directly into your fears. The ones that don't serve you, the ones that are just illusionary fears that are trying to stop you from moving forward. And then you train yourself to use fear, this is what I love to say, use fear as a compass. So when you're afraid of something that is not reasonable to be afraid of, you look at that and say, wait a minute, I feel fear here. Why am I fearing this? Let me go and experience that now. And then you go and you experience, and then you naturally do that all the time. And you'll find yourself, you'll find that there are a lot of things that we all have this fear towards. There's a lot of things in our lives that this level of fear gets produced towards. So the more things that you can go through and experience and let that fear come out, the more you're going to be slowly and surely becoming more confident, more powerful, and more in balance and in line with who you are. And then from doing that enough times, then your purpose begins to get more clear. And once your purpose gets clear, once you start to realize, like, I am here to do this. I'm here to say these things. I'm here to create this, or I'm here to lead people to this understanding, or I'm here to teach this, whatever your purpose is. Once you get that purpose, and the purpose has to be earned, it's a fact, it has to be re-uncovered from this process that I'm sharing with you. Once you find that, then your intention comes. And when your intention comes, it's a whole nother game. Okay, then you create reality from intention. Intention is, oh, I'm gonna do this, and nothing stops you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go here and here and here and do this, and nothing stops you. Your intention is on fire. Your intention is a laser beam focus of awareness. And you create magic with your intention. Just you intending something will manifest. But this takes time. This process that I'm explaining to you takes a lot of time, but you will eventually get there. And that is the key of all of this. So that's what I'm going to leave it at for fear. Once again, you're never going to get rid of fear, but you will change the response that you have to fear. So it's no longer the same energy, emotion that you currently may see it as right now. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, hit the notification bell because I'm posting videos as often as I can, and also hit the subscribe button because I love to see my subscribers go all the way up. Also, definitely make sure you check out my Patreon. Once again, I have tons of exclusive content on there that is very powerful content. Okay, then you go to the second link below. It's gonna take you to the Facebook community. When you go there, you're gonna see a pinned post that says private group. click that, request to join the private group. Once I get 50 people in there, I'm going to be posting consistently in the form of written and pictorial quotes. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.